work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work.
Fall in.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what it is. It's me, your boy Trey. And this is E2G Sports Network presents First Formation. Morning Sports Talk. Y'all hear the intro, fall in. I hope y'all are keeping warm out there as it's a bit chilly across the central Midwest. I know here in good old Fort Polk, Louisiana, it's about 16 degrees. Not bad, not bad, especially if you're indoors around that time frame to where no work is going on anyways. Uh, but some of y'all hard work, as you heard, had to get out there and get it. I love it for y'all. Hey, good morning, Jackie. Good morning, good morning. Glad to see you in formation this morning. Hope you're keeping warm. But yes, I know, like I said, around here it's about 16, 17 degrees. Wind chill puts it at about a -1. I'm not built for that life in any way, form, or fashion, so I don't play with it. I know some people look forward to it. I'm not necessarily one of them. Um, so we had to have a few conversations yesterday, uh, going over and talking about the Pro Bowl. We talked about a little quick tidbit about the Hall of Fame nominees in the for the Hall of Fame. Uh, but I like to tap in and talk about what's going on the on the college side of things. Of course, we had a few things. Um, being that I'm here in the state of Louisiana, I know a lot of people are grateful and look forward to the fact that Jaden Daniels is coming back at quarterback next season. As y'all know, he went down with an injury this late in the year, not before he was able to take care and hand Alabama their second loss of the season. That kind of, for the most part, put Alabama out to where they wasn't able to recover and get back into the CFP, although they were close. But Daniels, he's returning back for the 2023 season. LSU picked up a couple of not commits, picked up a couple of transfers. Of course, one of it being cornerback Denver Harris that has decided to transfer from Texas A&M. He's going to LSU. I think they picked up a transfer from a wide receiver. So as we all know, at the portal or the signing day and the portal full effect opening, you had some people get flipped, even to the fact of where he ended up putting where is that? Let me see if I can find it. They ended up putting Alabama in the driver's seats for the early signing period. Alabama's number one, 23 ESPN 300 top 300 commits, first in the SEC, first overall for the most part. 23 through ESP 300 commits. After that, let me get my other device so I can be able to pull it up and look at it. Bear with me for a second. I'm sorry. Okay, like I was saying, Alabama, of course, number one when it comes down to the top recruiting classes for the upcoming season, next season. Uh, 23 ESP 300 commits committed to Alabama. Their top offensive commit was offensive tackle Caden Proctor, who is the number 10 overall on ESPN 300. Top defensive commit was Jacovius Russaw, number 7 on that list. The Georgia Bulldogs come in second. Also, of course, second in the SEC for the most part. Offensive commit Monroe Freeling, who is the offensive tackle, number 91. Defensive commit Jonel Aguero, number 23, safety. So the Dogs continue to do their thing as they currently are in position to put themselves with another national championship. That, of course, I'm sure is going to be bring plenty more potential commits. The Miami Hurricanes, Cristobal is doing his thing. Although they didn't do too well this year, they do come in with a top 3 recruiting class. The top offensive commit, offensive tackle Francis Magoa from number 5 on the list. Top defensive commit, corner back Cormani McLean, number 4. So they're doing their thing on the recruiting trail. Coach Cristobal trying to change the culture in Miami. Um, and he looked like he's doing some things. Of course, number 3 recruiting class. Not too bad. 16 ESPN 300 commits. Interestingly enough, this one is interesting. I don't know if it's a situation to where these players are just decide to stay on because they already had a commitment, or how they got about it. But the Oklahoma Sooners are 4th when it comes to the recruiting class for the 2023 season with 13 300 commits, ESPN 300 commits. The fourth top recruiting class in the Big Ten, um, Big 12. Their top commit offensively, Jackson Arnold, who is a number 8 on the list. Defensive commits, safety Peyton Bowen, who is number 14 on the list. Which is interesting when you look at it because Oklahoma lost a lot of players that decided to flip and go to other institutions after Lincoln Riley left. So they, interesting enough, they pulled one out there. Number 5, Texas Longhorns, 12 ESPN 300 commits. They're, of course, second in the Big 12 if Oklahoma is number 1. Their top commit, Arch Manning from Louisiana, number 2 overall. Number 2 on the list. And the defensive commit, Anthony Hill, who is number 18. At number 6, Notre Dame. It's interesting that they're a 6. That they're 6 when they had a lot of flips, or they took a lot of flips from other organizations, kind of like pulled away from them. Braylon James, number 6 on that list, their top recruit, and their top defensive recruit, Jaden Osbury at number 58. After I go through the top 10, I just kind of look through and see where we have certain institutions, like the ones we all know and love, to see are they in the top in this recruiting. So LSU, number 7 on the list, 3rd in the SEC. Their top commit, Sheldon Sampson Jr., number 41 defensively. Javian Taviano, number 44. The Oregon Ducks, top Pac-12 ranked class, and number 8 overall. They have 11 commits. Jurion Dickey, their top wide receiver. Their top commit from offensively, number 34, and Mateo Ugalea, number 65. Ugalea is the brother to DJ Ugalea, the Clemson starting quarterback. Well, former Clemson starting quarterback. As we all know, DJ decided to go into the portal in which he's looking to move from institution to institution. It'll be interesting to know if he ends up to back up Bo Nix or compete with Bo Nix in Oregon, if it was even a case in which they would probably look to bring him in, or if he's going to uh, continue some of the rumors that he'll be going to UCLA. Actually, while I think about it, let me take a look and see something. As we continue to get back into more uh, in reference to, let me see who's still the hotness left in the portal. Uh, Come on, fam. Uh, I feel like falling in love. Oh, all right, then I can get that. I find that information. I have to look at on different device. All right, at number 9, the Florida Gators, 15 ESPN 300 commits, um, with the top one being Jaden Rosada on offense. Defensively, Kelby Collins, number 67, 27, and 67, respectively. Bringing up the top 10, Ohio State Buckeyes with ESPN 300 commits, 12 of them, first in the Big Ten. Top recruit on the offense, Brandon Enos, wide receiver, number 30 on the list. Defensive commit is Jason Moore, number 53 on the list. Of course, we know this all can change. Then you have teams like Clemson Tigers who come in at number 11. My beloved USC Trojans come in at number 13 on the list. Only 5 ESPN 300 commits. Of course, that one of them being the top number one commit, number one on ESPN 300, Malachi Nelson. Then, of course, they got linebacker Tackett Curtis from who's number 123. Uh, Actually, he's from around here, not too far from here, and Manny coming from out of Manny, Louisiana. And then, of course, they got Malachi Lemons, who's another 5-star commit. Played with Malachi Nelson, who potentially will be that next level. When you look at the expectation, Caleb Williams is going to be come back for at least one more year. And so we'll have Malachi is probably going to be expected to take the helm after that or continue to compete, one of the two things. Additionally, we got Zachariah Branch, very swift and nifty wide receiver, speedy type guy, quick get out of cuts and get in. So definitely something to look at. I'm feeling optimistic for the Trojans. Again, additionally, Tennessee Volunteers, number 14 on this list. Texas A&M, after a dismal season where they was the top ranked last year, they come in at number 15. Carolina 17. Wolverines at number 18. What else we got? Razorbacks 21. Louisville Cardinals at 23. 24, the Mississippi State. Ohio State at 25. Anyone else have any? UCLA, number 34. So the draft class are out there. A lot of people moving around, moving and shaking in any case. So, of course, there's more to be seen from that aspect. So, going and moving to NBA for a second. Uh, Last night, only 2 teams was in action, as we all know. The rest should be probably getting away from the Christmas Day games, as we know there's a slate of 6 games for Christmas Day. Probably won't have the same fanfare as any of the other school. I mean, a lot of other teams, because some teams are going to be without certain players, but of course it's NBA action, and we always say that's fantastic. But last night, the New Orleans Pelicans did battle, hosted the San Antonio Spurs, in which the Pelicans were able to get the W 126 to 117. That loss drops the Spurs to 10 and 21 on the year. Pelicans move up to 19 and 12, as there's a log jam at the top of the West to see who is the top team. if you look at the top 10 teams, which we know is considered a play-in now with the 8 through 10 competing in the tournament, in-game tournament, in-season tournament, they're currently looking at, it's a four games that separates 1 through 10 in the West. 4 games separate 1 through 10. But like I said, last night's game, 117, 126 for the Spurs. Spurs leading score, 23 points from Jeremy Sohan, 9 rebounds and 6 assists to contribute. 19 points from Trey Jones, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. 14 points from Josh Richardson, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. 13 from Jakob Pato, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Josh Richardson, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. 6 points from Zach Collins. Doug McDermott with 5, and 2 points from Romeo Langford. Of course, the Pelicans in their winning efforts was led by C.J. McCollum's 40 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 13 points from Willie Herman Gomez, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 15 points from Trey Murphy III, 16 points Jonas Valanciunas, 10 rebounds, 1 assist. 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists from Herb Jones. Jose Alvarado contributed with 9 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Devontae Graham, 6 points, 6 points from Jackson Hayes. Dyson Daniels, their rookie, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Najee Harris, lastly, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. As the New Orleans Pelicans get the W, 126-117 over the Spurs. To keep their hopes alive to be the top seed in the West by the end of the season. Other action, another West Coast team, the Utah Jazz hosted the Washington Wizards. The Wizards coming to Utah to play, but not leaving the state with a W, taking the L. Utah gets dubbed 19, proving to 19-16 on the year. Washington falls to 12-21 with the score of 120-112 for the Wizards. Kyle Kuzma, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists to lead his squad. Correction, I stand corrected. Bradley Beal with 30 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists to lead the squad. 21 points from Kyle Kuzma, 12 points Corey Kispert, 13 from Daniel Gafford, 11 from Jordan Goodwin. Ryle Hachimura, 7.7 rebounds, 1 assist, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist from Taj Gibson. Monte Morris, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 points from Anthony Gill. Will Barton contributed with 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists in that losing effort. The Jazz getting a little swagger back, led by Malik Beasley's 25 points. Jordan Clarkson followed up with 23.7 rebounds, 3 assists. A double-double effort from Walker Kessler, 12 points, 14 rebounds, 1 assist, 21 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist from Lauri Markkanen. Jarrett Vanderbilt contributed 3 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist in 28 minutes of play. Colin Sexton back, 18 points, 1 rebound. Nickeil Alexander Walker, 8 rebounds, 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists in his efforts as, again, the Wizards walk away from Utah with the L, losing 120-112. A full slate tonight before we get into the December Christmas holiday games. Let me go back to the top. Of course, the Orlando Magic will be hosting the San Antonio Spurs. The Philadelphia 76ers hosting the Clippers. The Brooklyn Nets will do battle with the Milwaukee Bucks, which is going to be an interesting game. This will probably be the better game of the night. As we know, the Nets are currently in the 4th seed, looking to improve. The Bucks, I think, in the 2nd seed, 3rd seed, 1 seed, or the 1 seed, trying to hold off. Additionally, the New York Knicks will face off against the Chicago Bulls. The Boston Celtics will do battle with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Atlanta Hawks and Pistons getting in tonight. Cleveland Cavaliers facing off against the Toronto Raptors. Houston Rockets, a battle in Texas, will be hosting the Dallas Mavericks tonight at the 7 o'clock game. The Denver Nuggets will do battle versus the Portland Trailblazers. Sacramento Kings hosting the Washington Wizards. The Phoenix Suns, newly purchased Phoenix Suns, will face off against the Memphis Grizzlies. And last but not least, the Los Angeles Lakers looking at another opportunity to try to move closer to getting back to 500 at minimum. Will face off against host the Charlotte Hornets in LA as they prep for their upcoming games the following day on their back-to-back. Are all teams on back-to-back? Not all teams. The Grizzlies have a back-to-back. The Suns have a back-to-back. The Lakers have a back-to-back. What's good, Kenneth? Good morning to you. Glad to see you in formation this morning. Happy Friday to you. Happy holidays as well. Like I said, Suns back-to-back. Nuggets back-to-back. The Grizzlies have a back-to-back. The Lakers have a back-to-back. The Mavericks have a back-to-back. The Knicks and 76ers and the Bucks and the Celtics have a back-to-back. So every team has a back-to-back except for the Warriors. 76ers and the Knicks will face off on Christmas morning. Lakers and Mavericks got the second game. Bucks and Celtics in the third. The Grizzlies and Warriors in the fourth. Of course, this is going to be a little different as Steph Curry is not going to be available to play in this game. But it should be plenty fireworks, John Morant show all day long. And lastly, the Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets are in the final game on that Sunday morning for the Christmas Day games from the NBA. Let's see what else we got. You know what? Let me move into because I really have something I want to talk about. If you all were able, I don't think so, Anthony. I don't think so. I still think that moniker belongs to. I still think the MVP currently goes through Boston and then a close second in Dallas. I was looking at this number right now. Not Giannis. Luka Doncic is putting up Jordan-esque numbers right now. So we all know Jordan is a habitual line stepper when it comes to grabbing an MVP, and Luka has Jordan-esque numbers right now. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone else was angling to get that MVP. I think it's honestly Luka's or even Tatum's to lose right now. But we're early in the season. I don't have a bias. I don't want anyone to think I have a bias towards Luka. I just think that it's his time, or at least this year is his time. But of course, it remains to be seen. We'll end up seeing how that pans out. But yeah, KD, he's probably out there. Let me actually see if I can see something if they have something like ESPN or something like that, as well as the when it comes to MVPs voting or the look of the MVP. But that's a good question, Anthony. Why do you think that KD is looking good for the MVP potentially? Mm. Of course, LeBron 706 points away from eclipsing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points scored in NBA history. The prediction is that he'll do it in 26 games, which put him at the February the 11th game versus Milwaukee. Trade deadline is coming up. Will we see any trades? Been talks of Kyle Kuzma, different players. Of course, a lot is basically around the Lakers. I think basically what everyone's trying to talk about the Lakers, but that's someone else is working magic on the other end, and we're gonna see potentially see I ain't gonna say a blockbuster trade, but we're gonna see a huge trade somewhere to where it's going to be like, wow, you didn't see that coming. It's like, why you didn't see it coming? Because everyone got their eyes on what the Lakers are doing. Let me see. They are looking hella good, Anthony. I looked at that the other day. I ain't gonna say I was a little jealous, but I was like, goodness gracious, when did this happen? They're looking real, real, real good. Actually, let me take a look at what the as I continue to look for the MVP. Like I said, but not too far off is the power rankings that they have per ESPN. Um, Detroit, of course, like I said, Cade Cunningham is out. They lost for the season. Detroit is coming in at number 30. At number 29, the Houston Rockets, 9-21 at the time of this print. That's what we expected. Houston's going to probably take a little bit. At number 27, the San Antonio Spurs, as they look and they do their build. The Spurs, in my opinion, have the same thing going on in Utah, just not the same outcome or uh, not getting the same basically the same outcome. It's a bunch of players that are playing together, but just not rendering the same outcome as Utah is in the mix as a top team in the NBA. Correction, the West for most part. At number 26, the Washington Wizards at 12-20. The Chicago Bulls at number 25 at 12-18. Um, the Orlando Magic come in at 24, 11-21. Moving along steadily to 11 games. Not bad for a team that they expected to be a bottom feeder. At number 23, the Oklahoma City Thunder at 13-18. 22, the Toronto Raptors at 13-18. The Los Angeles Lakers currently number 21, moving up steadily, slowly but surely. They're 13-18 currently. The Indiana Pacers at number 20 at 15-16 on the year. Minnesota Timberwolves at number 19, 16-15 as we get into the winning records, obviously. So I thought the Golden State Warriors come in at number 18 on their 15-17 record. The Warriors, which is interesting enough, had a 6-game road game slate in which they went 1-5 in those 6 games. 1-5 on the road, 6 games. They're about to do a hard stand, a grandstand homestand of 8 games. Of course, starting out with the New Year's Eve game. Correction, the Christmas game in which they'll play Memphis. So, do they start out the season? I mean, to start out their homestand with the loss in prime time? It remains to be seen. But currently, they're number 18 as of last week. What's good, Commissioner Myers? How you doing? Glad to see you formation this morning. Very happy holidays to you. The Utah Jazz at number 17, power rankings, 18-16 record. Dallas Mavericks, 15-16, number coming in number 16. The Atlanta Hawks, 16-15 record, number 15 on the list in the power ranking. Miami, thank you, sir. Same to you. Same to you. The Miami Heat, 16-16 on the year, coming in at number 14. The Sacramento Kings, it's all right, Sacro, get it done. That's all I can say. They're taking care of business in the West. They're 16-13 on the year, 3 games above 500, coming in at number 13 in the power ranking. Although they did drop, they were up 2 spots last week. The Portland Trailblazers holding steadily, 17-14 on the year, number 12 in the power rankings. Damian Lillard, as I talked about the other day, just passed Clyde Drexler for the all-time leading scorer in Portland Trailblazers history. So he's continued to do the same work. I think Dame is going to be another one of those players that's going to stick around and stay in with his team for the duration of his career. I just hope it doesn't cost him. He's a pretty good talent. The New York Knicks come in at number 11, as we talked about yesterday. They were hit with a punishment, so to speak, as they lost their 2025 second round draft pick due to tampering. As they went after Jalen, their guard, Jalen Brunson, too early. Have talks with him. were found to be in violation of the moratorium, and they got hit with the fines. But they're currently number 11 with the 18-3 record in the power rankings as we get into the top 10 for the power rankings. At number 10, the Los Angeles Clippers, 18-14. Boo. 18-14 on the day. Number 10 in the power rankings is Philadelphia 76ers, 17-12. They come in at number 9 in this power ranking. Number 8, the New Orleans Pelicans, 22 and for the 22-23 season, currently 18-12. They did get a win last night, so 19-12. As they are number 8, moving up, dropping 5 slots from the number 3 position. The Phoenix Suns come in at number 7 at a 19-13 record. The Brooklyn Nets, as we was just talking about Anthony Price, they're number 6 in the power ranking, 19-12, making a statement, doing some work. You ain't expect Brooklyn to be in this position, but they are. After all they went through, they seem to endure and have some people that are still working together to get things happen. They lose their coach and Steve Nash early at the beginning of the season. They had the situation with Kyrie Irving and him being suspended for the team for almost 10 games. But they've seemed to weather the storm, and they're still doing well. Is it a sense of the West is weak? The East is weak, or are they just a great team at this point? But it remains to be seen. Like I said, at the 19-12, that means they're 33, 32, 31 games into the season. They got 2 games tonight, and then another a game tonight, and then a game tomorrow after that, or a game on Sunday. So we'll see. At number 5, Nikola Jokic and them Denver Nuggets come in at the 5th spot for the power ranking, 19-11 on the year. Cleveland Cavaliers at number 4. Great pickup in Donovan Mitchell. I think that is really making a difference for them, putting them in a top 5 category when it comes to the NBA. Of course, they already had Jared Allen, Darius Garland. They gave up Colin Sexton to get Donovan Mitchell, along with a slew of picks. They already have even Mobley and a couple other players. So great work to their GM and staff, doing their homework, pulling the string, and putting them in position. At number 3, as we get Memphis Grizzlies, 19-11, top team in the Western Conference. Number 2, the Boston Celtics, Robert Williams III back in the locker room, back to anchor that defense. But I think Boston's on a 2-game lose streak. I have to take a look at that. But they're the number 2 in the power ranking. This is last week's power ranking based off of last week's play. And of course, number 1, the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo, 22-8. As Milwaukee leads the league as well as the Eastern Conference with the best record at 22-8. Also number 1 in the power rankings. Not too far behind, like I said, is excuse me. Where's the standings? I want the standings. Open this up. Bear with me for a second. I want to get the okay, there we go. I can see Milwaukee's up a half game over the Boston Celtics, 1 game over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just like that, like I was talking about earlier when it comes to these rankings, not much separating number 1 through 10, honestly. So that makes for a good play. Definitely different in the West, as 1 through 10 is separated by 4 games in the West, as 1 through 6 is separated by 4 games in the Eastern Conference. Of course, 8.5 total when it comes to the other 10. A total of 10. Toronto currently, Atlanta and Toronto Atlanta, Toronto, Indiana, and Miami currently the teams in the play-in. If the season was to start, that's something that goes on all the time. If the season was to start today, this is what the outlook is. So currently, if the season was to start today, your play-ins would be the Miami Heat, Indiana Pacers, Atlanta Hawks, and the Toronto Raptors. In the Eastern Conference, in the West, it would be the Utah Jazz, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Portland Trailblazers, in which I just wouldn't want to be that team that ends up catching these hands from the Dallas Mavericks, as we know they can catch fire. Additionally, to be noted, the 10th ranked team, or basically for the most part, pretty close to all the teams, are 500 teams in the West. The Timberwolves, the Mavericks, and then you have Portland is 2 games above 500, and then Utah being 3 games above 500. But in any case, 4 games separates the number 1 seed from the number 10 seed. Additionally, 10.5 games separate the number 16 seed in the West from the number 1 seed. So still anyone's ball game for the most part. Anyone can potentially catch fire and get to going and just start lighting up. We just seen New York had an 8 game winning streak that was broke the other night, but saying they was there. So it's who's up next. Win streaks currently going. But like I said, Milwaukee top team in the NBA at 22-9. Um, Led by then of course the top 3 teams actually in the East are the top 3 teams in overall in the league. Then they're followed up by the Denver Nuggets and Memphis Grizzlies, and then we get Brooklyn, the Pelicans, 76ers, Suns, Clippers, Sacramento Kings, New York, and Utah Jazz. So a lot going on. Let's do a transition. Look like I'm gonna have another day like yesterday. Last night. Shout out to the Jaguars. Duval. I knew, I had a feeling that they were going to take care of business. I just wasn't willing to pull the trigger on that. Of course, Bishop hit me up in the comments later on and said he was rocking with Jacksonville. Ron was with me. We both took the Jets, thinking that defense and Robert Salah was going to do his business. Came up kind of short, of course. Just was there for Jaguars there last night. I don't know what's going on with Zach Wilson. I don't know. Is that him really, or is it the appreciate Con man? What's going on, brother? Yes, Zach is done. Zach is done. Zach is definitely done. 9 for 18, 50%, 92 yards passing. It's not looking too good for that player. Yeah, and with it, one interception. Chris Stevler, 10 for 15, 90 yards passing. Stevler also led the Jets with rushing 9 carries for 54 yards. Ty Johnson had 2 carries for 7. Michael Carter 2 for 6. Zach was 1 for 1. Carter 5 receptions, 44 yards receiving. Tyler Conklin 4 for 34. Wilson 4 for 30. Uzuma 1 for 30. Elijah Moore 2 for 15. Zonovan Knight 1 for 15. Uh, just wasn't in the cards for the Jets last night. They had an opportunity to make a move, but of course they got the L, losing 19-3, 19-3 to drop to 7-8. Still have an opportunity. 2 games remaining. They can still end up finishing the season with a winning record. Jacksonville Jaguars have now put themselves in potential play, as they have their 7-8 as well. So they're looking good right now. They are putting themselves in the prime position to be in the playoffs. Uh, Looking pretty good for the most part. Additionally, in other NFL news, um, maybe some disappointment coming up, maybe some upsets, potentially. I don't know. Oh, hold on, let me go back to something. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence was 20 for 31, 229 passing yards last night. Travis Etienne, 22 carries for 83 yards. Trevor Lawrence, 7 carries for 51 yards with the lone touchdown. JaMychal Hasty, 3 carries for 10 yards. Jared Conner, 2 for 10. Even Ingram, 7 receptions, 113 yards from the tight end position. Travis Etienne contribute 3 receptions for 29 yards. Christian Kirk, 3 for 22. Diane Arnold was 1 for 17. Marvin Jones, 3 for 15. Zay Jones, 1 for 14. JaMychal Hasty, 1 for 14 additionally as well. So, like I said, a lot going on last night in that game. Zach Wilson got pulled. He got booed. The young man's head wasn't in it. Head wasn't in it. He wasn't ready to go. And it just was a reflection. It's unfortunate, but these are this is that's what happens. I mean, I guess you could say clear and concise. That's just what happens. You got to be ready to go. Always ready to play. Just like YouTube is ready to play as they get the bid, NFL awards the bid to YouTube, as YouTube would be the new channels or the new carrier of the NFL Sunday package. I have the Sunday package, Sunday ticket. I'm sorry. I have the Sunday ticket. I utilize it for the most part. I don't even watch the games per se. I watch Red Zone. I watch Red Zone. And then via the Red Zone, if I see something interesting or I want to really dive into a game, I go and I find my game that's going on, and I tap in. So, but just like how Prime got the Thursday night football bid, now YouTube swoops in yesterday and wins and gives. Well, it says YouTube, but it's Google. They're under YouTube. Google, so the YouTube is a subsidiary. Google swings in and gets the distribution rights for the Sunday package. That basically will air on the YouTube TV and the YouTube primetime channels. If you don't pay attention, YouTube has certain channels you can subscribe. It's a 7-year deal that is basically worth more than $2 billion per season to the NFL. So another generation stream for them. Like you said, them viewing rights, fam. That's where it's at. If you can get it, if you can come up with a network, hey, get your money up. For the most part, DirecTV has held the package for its inception since it's been around. It has always been a DirecTV package, which they charge pretty heftily for it. But now, of course, the satellite provider. I mean, they was making what 1.5 billion a year off the package. Off it was an 8-year contract, but of course, like I said, that comes to the end. The NFL was initially seeking to make about 2.5 billion off this off the rights to use it. They didn't come to that. I guess they was able to come to a negotiation with Google in which they settled on the 2 billion. But hell, teams are going for $2 billion. They just purchased like it's crazy. This money to blow, I guess you could say. Um, but it's potential. They said there's still a possibility for them to reach that type of connection with the possibility for or with all the commercial rights and stuff like that, and people purchasing the packages. So it's still in the works. Maybe they can negotiate, or maybe they have something in the languages to where they're going to be able to negotiate what this basically means for the NFL. Um, Besides that, of course, Apple tried to corner the market. Not Apple, correction, not Apple. Amazon made an attempt to purchase the package as well. Apple, and then of course ESPN, all expected interest in the Sunday ticket. But end state was, I guess, it was just more that YouTube was able to offer or was willing to offer more money or pay close to the threshold for um, that. Additionally, I wonder now, like Chris Hansen has been the guy for the network for the red zone. I wonder, does he stay on? Does U2 get a different or have someone else in which they want to give that position to? Like, or does Chris Hansen stay on to continue to work for red zone? Or does he now have to? Does he now just goes back to maybe working for direct TV? Like now, of course, it's going to mean a lot. New sheriffs in town, new probably a new type of setup. So it remains to be seen. Uh, oh, sorry. The NFL Network has been available, and the Red Zone have been available to YouTube subscribers for the last 2 years. So the transition might be seamless. Um, like we was just talking about, the price has been over the past years $300 to $400, in which for the package, 2 million subscribers. Uh, that's a lot of cheddar. But in any case, business is business, and business is booming evidently. Uh, so if you want to continue to catch the ticket, the big Sunday ticket, you're gonna have to check it, tap into YouTube to see it now for all your viewing needs. Um, what else we got? Oh, like I said, Jalen Hurts out for Philadelphia as they look to do battle against the Dallas Cowboys this weekend. I don't know if that's a smooth move or if it makes sense. Is Jalen Hurts going to be powered down the whole year? They're basically in the playoffs. Like they can't take that away from them. But they can potentially be in jeopardy of losing in the number one spot. I think. I think San Francisco can. No, San Fran can't catch them. I don't think anyone can catch them. No, San Fran can't catch them. San Fran can catch them if they lose out. I think Dallas can catch them if they win out. San Fran wins out, and Philadelphia loses out. They're in the they could be caught, as well as currently I think uh the Vikings are able to catch them as well. So three teams in the hunt for that number one spot. A little bit different for Dallas as they're in the hunt for the another NFC East championship. So it's not over. However, if the Eagles were to win, I think that would solidify them, and they wouldn't have to worry about it. Let me pull up those stats and make sure I know for sure. I want to give y'all no false info. Um, give you the scenarios for this week. Let me check it. So currently, of course, in the AFC, you have the Buffalo Bills are currently the owner of the bye at 11-3 and the number one seed in the East. I mean, in the AFC, KFC 11-3 themselves, but are Buffalo owns the head to head currently, the tiebreaker. But they're the two seed. If the playoffs were to start right now, they would be facing off against the seven seeded Miami Dolphins at 8-6. The Cincinnati Bengals at number three will be facing off against the Los Angeles Chargers at 8-6. Bengals 10-4. The Tennessee Titans 7 leading their division, currently the division champion, would face off against the Baltimore Ravens, who are 9-5, 9-5 if the season was to end today. In the West, I mean the NFC, of course, we know the Philadelphia 76ers with the 13-1 record, holding the number one seed and currently the first round bye. However, like I said, clipping on their heels, the Minnesota Vikings at 11-3, who are currently the number two seed, they will face off against 7-6-1 Washington Commanders if it was starting today. The San Francisco 49ers at 10-4 will face off with the New York Giants, who are 85 if that was the case, 85-1. And then lastly, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers holding on to that position in the West with 6-8 record over the Dallas Cowboys are 10-4. But again, uh, Dallas could stay alive with a win, which puts Philadelphia in the bad place because they get the loss. They extend the that time frame a little more. Minnesota able or currently already clinched. San Francisco already clinched. They're just now looking to see if they can make a play for that number one seed. Of course, like I said, Philly, if they lose, the streak continues. If they win, I think it's over. At least it puts them a little bit closer. Or I think it will beat them because I think they own the head-to-head over Minnesota. So San Francisco and Dallas really are the only ones I think that are really have a play in it. Scenarios, of course, this week in the AFC, Buffalo can clinch the AFC East division title with a win or a tie or a Miami loss. That's how Buffalo clinches. Cincinnati can clinch a berth into the playoffs with a win or a tie, or which they should already clinch it actually because the Jets lost last night, so they should be good. Let me take a look. Yeah, Cincinnati's good. So Cincinnati's in currently with their loss, with the loss last night with the Jets. Cincinnati's currently in the playoffs. They clinched the berth. Now all they have to do is win their division, but pretty hard being made because Baltimore has a chance. Baltimore can get in with a playoff berth with a win and a Miami loss or tie, as well as a loss or tie from the New England Patriots, or their win and a loss from Miami, or a win and a loss from New England, or Baltimore tying and New England losing. New England loss, a Cleveland loss, a Las Vegas loss, a Tennessee loss, and a Chargers win can get the Baltimore in as well. Baltimore tie, New England tie, and the Miami loss, or lastly a Baltimore tie, New England loss, and the Miami loss can get them in. So plenty of opportunities for Baltimore to get in. Which are for the most part predicated upon them winning. And last but not least, in the AFC scenario, the Los Angeles Chargers can clinch a berth with the win and a Vegas loss, or a win and a Vegas tie, Miami loss, and a New England tie. Uh, and the NFC, however, I think is a little bit different. Three teams, two teams of correction, with the possibility of clinching a playoff berth. The Philadelphia Eagles can clinch the NFC East with a win over the Dallas Cowboys. They can clinch home field advantage with a win, um, or a tie and a loss by the Minnesota Vikings. And of course, lastly, scenario, the New York Giants can clinch a playoff berth with a win and a loss by Washington and a loss by Detroit, a win and a loss by Washington and a loss by Seattle, or a win and a loss by Detroit and a loss by Seattle. So now we come down to the point to where teams are looking for help from other teams to get in. Um, but we'll see. With that said, let's get into these picks so I can record mine. I can get with my counterparts and get theirs, and then we can get up out of here, and I can start presumably my day this day. So last week, to keep us up to date, Bishop went pretty hard, but they wasn't hard enough. As your boy Trey, 14-2 in my picks last week. I should have set up and put some money on it, but in essence, I'm a 125-79 on the year. Um, Bishop is second at 124-79 himself. So I'm a half game in front of Bishop. When he was running, he had his track shoes on. Slow and steady it is. Of course, he went 12-4 last week, and then Ron 10-5 in his picks, but he's out front, of course, 132-171. And then I didn't start off too swiftly last night, myself and Ron, as we both. So we're actually, Bishop is a half game ahead of me, as he picked the Jacksonville Jaguars last night to get the win and was victorious in that. Who I said the Jets. So where we at? Let me pull up the schedule. So of course, like I said, Jacksonville got the dub last night. Jaguars victorious. Next game up, that would be taking place tomorrow. As there's what, five? How many games? I think all the games are actually tomorrow. Yes. Well, no. It's four. It's 3 games on Sunday, on Christmas, 1 game on Monday night. So that means there's 12 games going on tomorrow on Saturday. Correction, 11 games going on tomorrow. So the first up, the Falcons versus the Ravens. I'm just gonna keep along. Although Huntley will be the starting quarterback as Lamar Jackson is still currently out. Devin Duvernay, as we said, he's done. He's done for the year. He's out. They picked up Sammy Watkins. But I think I could believe in Harbaugh. I think Baltimore gets the win. I'm going with that. Uh, Next game, the Detroit Lions and the Carolina Panthers. 2 up-and-coming teams, hot streaking, are trying to make their way into the playoffs. Of course, the Panthers looking at a possibility to still be the NFC South division champion. Uh, that's still a wide open race. But I think just the Lions are just got it going right now. They're actually making the play to get into as in a wild card. They're not going to catch the Minnesota Vikings, but they can, however, make a difference and get into the position. I'm rocking with Detroit this week. Let's go. The D. Next game, the Seattle Seahawks playing the Kansas City Chiefs, in which Seattle, I don't see winning this game. Kansas City stays hot, although they did almost give away the game the other night, but I don't see them doing that with Seattle, although I can see Geno having a good game. Seattle may be without Tyler Lockett, as he broke his hand. I expect to be out a couple of games, maybe back to at the last game of the season, or if they get into the playoffs. But in case, I'm still going with the Chiefs on this one. The Saints, New Orleans Saints, who that nation, the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson. I'm going with Cleveland in this game. Deshaun making taking trying to get his team back into contention. He needs to win out, and then of course he needs help before they haven't formally. I don't think they've been eliminated yet. Let me check that to make sure. Yeah, Cleveland is still alive. They haven't been eliminated yet. Only Denver and Houston has been eliminated in the AFC. So Cleveland still has an opportunity. They win, their hope stays alive. So I think they keep that hope alive. The Browns, with the possibility, I'm going with that. Texans and Titans. This is a hard one, man. The Texans have been on the cusp of getting a W over the last couple of weeks, but I don't know if that continues, or does the Titans take care of business? Brian Tannehill isn't going to be playing, so that puts Malik Willis in the seat, and we all know how he did when they played against Kansas City. It just wasn't pretty. Um, it's a hard one, but I think I'll go with Tennessee. Let's go, Malik. Make him proud of drafting you. The next thing up, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the New England Patriots. Who they in effect, and who they is who I'm going with. Cincinnati to get the win over the New England Patriots. The Giants and the Vikings. Let's continue to ride that train, Minnesota. Although you let me down the other day, I continue on. I think you're better. You're going to be a little more dominant than the New York Giants will be. Next up, the Chicago Bears will host the Buffalo Bills. I'm still rocking with Buffalo, although Buffalo does. I mean, the Bears do get their tandem back because Julian Herbert is back in the fold, so he can potentially make a difference and mount a nice rushing attack for Chicago. The 49ers and the Washington Commanders, y'all already know what it is. You see the headgear. If you watch us, you know who I rep. San Francisco, I think, is able to get the W, continue their slot as they look to improve. Hopefully, recovered well for Brock Purdy as he was out. Not out. He's been nursing some contusions, ribs, and back. So hopefully, they're able to pull that out. Of course, the next up, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cowboys. Uh, Although I think Gardner Minshew is pretty good, I just don't know if he's going to get the job taken care of. I'd be surprised if it was to happen. But until that point, I'm rocking with the Cowboys this week to get the W over the Eagles, exceeding that possibility for someone else to get the number one seed, and even for the Cowboys to potentially get um, the win the division. I don't think the Saraski is going to allow that to happen, though. Jalen is just going to be rested. I believe they're going to bring him back so he can play. Of course, after the game on Dallas, New Orleans Saints is next up on their slate, and then New York Giants is last. Potentially, they can get a win in that case in one of those cases. But at this point, I think the drama is going to continue, and the Eagles fall to the Cowboys this week and probably come back and get a W next week to wrap it up. Um, the Steelers and the Raiders, the next game, tomorrow's night's prime time game, night game. Tomlin, as we sit up and know, is still chasing to stay ahead of that to extend his record of 15 years, 16 years straight of winning seasons is in jeopardy. I believe they get the loss this week. It puts it out of reach, I think. Las Vegas is streaking. We know Jacobs and Adams, Pro Bowlers. So it could look dismal. What's good? Let's see how you do. I'm glad to see information this morning, brother. Yes, they did get the win. Shout out Duval. But like I said, the Raiders and Steelers. I'm going with Las Vegas. LVR. Then of course, what you said, 3 more games Sunday night. The Green Bay Packers and the Dolphins. A year or two ago, this would be clearly a pick of where you would take the Packers without a reasonable doubt. But of course, that was a year when they had Devontae Adams uh, lining up, and where they don't have that anymore. However, Christian Watson has been very instrumental in their last couple of weeks in getting wins. Uh, but I just don't think they have enough firepower to keep up with Dolphins in this case. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins to get that W over the Green Bay Packers. The Los Angeles Rams and Denver Broncos. Baker Mayfield 1-1 with the Rams since he's gotten there, as he's relieving Matt Stafford, who's out for the I think the year. Browns without, of course, Cooper Kupp. Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson trying to make up the difference in the season. Doesn't want to completely just go out and be dominated the rest of the year. I'm going with Denver Broncos. I don't know why necessarily, but I'm just gonna go with Denver. The Cardinals and the Buccaneers. Of course, I'm just gonna go with the GOAT for him to continue to make a difference, possibly putting himself in position to get into the playoffs. Of course, if you've been listening, I said that I don't see Atlanta winning, as well as I don't see Carolina winning, and I don't see the Saints winning. But I see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning, which might solidify, puts them, I guess, a game closer to being the division champions and earning their spot in the playoffs. We'll see how that ends up, and then of course, uh, the Monday night game I would save for Monday night. Uh, so that would be my picks for the week. Baltimore, Detroit, Kansas City, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Buffalo, San Francisco, Dallas, Las Vegas, Miami, Denver, and Tampa Bay. Uh, so, of course, look forward to this weekend. Saturday is going to be lit tomorrow. Plenty of football. Sunday, 3 football games, 5 basketball games. Uh, it's going to be a great weekend. With that, my high speeds, I will bid y'all a farewell for this week. I hope you enjoy your holidays. I hope y'all get everything in which y'all wish for and hope for, including them wins on over the course of the weekend. Of course, I'll be back here on Monday to chop it up with y'all, to talk about these W's, these L's, who's in, who's out, and all that type of stuff. I should have my compadres with me. If not, we should have something special to you. Yo, coming up to the last couple of days of the week. Those always have the weekend review. The review. Maybe we might have something special coming up for that. I got to see what we can put together. But in any case, I gladly appreciate y'all rocking me for this hour this morning. I hope y'all enjoy your weekend, enjoy your holidays. I look forward to speaking to you on Monday. This is your boy Trey. All love. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Peace.